executive session at 9:12 where we discussed personnel and litigation. I don't have any of my papers where they're supposed to be. Okay, additions to the agenda. First off, I have a letter from Claysville VFD requesting that we consider, they would like the Donald Township Supervisor, Claysville Volunteer Fire Department would like to inquire as an estimated price on the Donald Township Police Department assisting with roadway shutdown at our annual Fireman's Parade and Festival. We greatly appreciate their appearance and public safety they provide for many years past for the safety of our community members and visitors in attendance. Please let us know how we can make this possible as well as the cost so it can be estimated into our festival budget.
What cost are we talking, what numbers are we talking about?
So we charge ultimately $42.23 an hour, straight time. What happens is in the contract with Claysville, there are a certain number of events that we provide services for, a certain number of parades. We actually shut down Route 40 for them. And they take care of all the side traffic and stuff, but we have to shut the state road down. So it would be overtime for 2 officers for however long the event was gonna last, depending on what day it's on. Some of these events are on holidays anyway.
They shut it down for the parade, correct?
Yes, yeah, we shut 40 down when they're
It's gonna
done.
be more than about 3 hours for a
It
parade.
wouldn't, no, it wouldn't be.
Ah, Just guessing,
By the time they get lined up and stuff, you're probably
probably
talking
talking
a couple
about
hours.
15 minutes for parade,
Now, you said.
No, because they go up and then they turn around and come back.
okay, half hour,
Maybe.
yeah.
You said that there are already, for them, there's provisions already in the contract for certain events?
For certain events, yeah.
Okay, is
This
this
isn't one
one,
of the events?
is this
No,
not one
it
of the
is not.
events?
Motion to include this provision for 2 officers for the period of time that you might deem necessary for public safety for this fundraising event.
Can I, you have to make a motion?
All right, Doug's got a motion to, I'm unclear,
Fund it,
to pay for it.
pay for it. I mean, Claysville Fire Department is as much a part of us as what the Alexander Fire Department is.
Okay. I'll second the motion just to move it along. Now, anybody up here got any questions, comments? Darren?
What, have they ever paid before?
No, we've done it for free before.
So this is something new that you, or something new that needs to be done that has never been done before?
Yeah, it's costing money. It's impacting our budget.
Okay. How would this motion impact your budget?
Well, whatever they needed for it, let's say 3 hours, I think is what Doug said, at time and a half for 2 officers. So.
Which it
depending
does
on-
affect your budget.
Yeah, depending on what rate you guys.
How
So-
much does it
So,
affect
okay,
the
so let's,
So,
let's say,
my question to you is,
you, with the fair board, with the fair every year, we pass the cost off directly to the fair.
yeah,
So if it costs, we'll just say it costs $20 for this officer for an hour. We just pass the cost directly to them. The most we charge is, our highest rate is the Buffalo rate. But that would be up to the board as to what.
Fair board and the fire department that are like apples and oranges out.
Are they
Okay.
just talking about a parade, or are they talking about for the whole
What
day?
about the parade?
Just the parade?
it
Oh, is it
said,
just break?
it said assist in, I read it,
The way I read it, it was to shut down.
just shut it down for the parade, and, I don't know, you've been to it? They have a big shindig right in front of the fire hall,
Yeah,
I'm assuming that road is not
that's why I was.
fully open.
I guess I just didn't hear, I
To
didn't
the
know they
side,
were
they
asking
were
for
right, they
traffic
keep
control for
closed.
the day, or.
Borough allows them to close.
Yeah,
Um,
the- yeah.
Do they?
Well,
My
we can't
question-
take the road down.
Traffic something?
No, but they can do
Well,
it.
there's no way to divert traffic
Oh,
around.
that's what.
When do they want it shut down?
I don't, yeah, it's usually in July, but I don't know.
Maybe-
July 27th, I believe, is the
Last
date.
Saturday.
Last Saturday, July.
My question to you though, Chief, was, would it be better for your budget if we allotted a dollar amount to this?
My recommendation would be to just pass the cost along to them. So, sit down and talk to them, they say, hey, look, we're gonna need to close down, we're gonna need you guys for 2 hours, 3, whatever it is. Just figure out what the overtime rate is for that, and if we can use part-timers, we'll just use straight time. If we have to use Jack, then it'd be overtime. And, just let them pay the cost.
Which other parades are in your contract, do you know offhand?
Christmas and Memorial Day.
Yeah,
Okay, I just was asking. Okay.
Halloween.
Halloween, yeah. The school
I
pays,
don't think they should.
So, they have a parade
They wanna make us pay.
where we shut down the road
I
on
don't think
Halloween.
they could be. That's a- that's a
However,
community
during the
service.
day, the school
Yeah.
wants to have a separate parade for the
Yeah, it should be
kids,
one anybody.
so they pay the
No, it
cost.
should be part of it.
We just pass the cost on.
Cleveland Borough. It's a-
Okay,
it's a-
Yeah, we're not.
I haven't made a decision either way, and my
Get us
question
anyhow.
was mainly not to poison your budget.
But
You
still,
see, to
I
unfairly,
don't believe that there should be any money.
Not gonna-
auditors,
You could transfer money from the general fund to.
that was my
Or you
question.
could transfer.
That's for the
money
people,
from
you could
Act
use Act
13.
13.
You can do Act 13 because it's for police.
But you're talking maybe, from what he
You know.
said, $120.
It's not a big amount of
Yeah.
money and the fire department is an important part, whether it's Claysville or West Alexander, I don't think it doesn't matter.
You kinda, I mean,
Yes.
correct me if I'm wrong, that's a relatively sizable event during the day, there's gonna be a lot of people, a lot of traffic, a lot of foot traffic, you're gonna have some.
We need
Anyway.
to have protection there.
They don't,
They don't ask for that.
nobody wants any extra.
Coverage,
We just cover it with the guy that's working.
whatever,
Right.
in the contract.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? All right, what was your motion?
Motion to approve the
To
3 hours
just-
or so,
Approve,
yes. If it takes 2 hours, whatever necessary to
To
make it
absorb
safe.
it.
Pay for it.
To absorb it.
to, yeah. To not charge them, right?
That's correct.
To basically pay for it. Okay, and I seconded it. And before we vote, I'd like to say that I appreciate the fact that they are willing to pay and didn't come here with their hand out.
Yeah, like I said, he just called me today and he asked if I could pick up a letter to bring it in.
All right, anybody else? How do you vote?
Tom,
Yes.
Tammy,
Yes.
Kathy,
No.
Doug,
Yes.
Ed,
It doesn't matter, I don't think, does it? What's the count?
You still gonna vote?
Doesn't make
Yeah.
a difference what this count is.
Well, yes, it does. Okay. Then announce it there. Sharon,
3 yes, 2 no, motion carries.
all right. Next thing on addition to the agenda is discuss how we pay the town, the tax collector. This was what the auditors brought up, and explain it to me again. We,
She's collecting
yes,
per month, her fees for tax certifications and removal permits and whatever she's doing for fees. She's bringing the check in, giving it to Ewan's, and you're cutting her a check, withholding her taxes.
and we discussed, yeah, we talked about this, we
Yeah.
don't 1099 or
That would-
anything,
It's costing the township money. Ewan's never made a motion.
we're
to
paying
do
the
that.
FICA and all that out of that, yeah. Which I didn't realize that was the way that was done, until you brought it up.
And I guess our thing is that regardless of what you decide, whatever there is, if you're spending township money, whether it's for those taxes or whatever, that it needs to have a motion to approve it. Okay?
Yeah. Well, and I don't know how they did it before, or I don't know how we ended up doing it this way. I don't know.
Somebody had to give her permission to do that.
Yeah, I would, huh?
Nothing in the minutes about it.
How we paid Tammy? Do we know how it was?
I don't know.
Hasn't Tammy Nelson indicated that she
Yeah,
never
I asked
received
her,
a
and the
paycheck?
only thing she got from the township was her commission check, the 5% commission for collecting the taxes.
Okay.
Well, the DCED, you said would be here. It certainly should be a question they should be able to answer if it's proper. If it's legal to do it this way, and if it's not, I don't know how other places do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it the lawful way, and we'll find out. I'd rather ask them, and they could spend money researching otherwise. Wait, when did you say they're coming?
27th?
Check with them, and bring it back for the next meeting. If we need to do something differently, we can do it.
Yeah, because when we discussed it, she says she's not an employee, so why
No,
are
she
we,
is
she's
not
being
an
paid as an
employee.
employee?
Right,
You know what I
we
mean?
can adjust that. Find out.
Alright, so what's your recommendation? You
Check
just
with
wanna wait
check
until?
with DCED and find out what the procedure is, and, what it
Mr.
should be.
Hoffinger, do you happen to know, or no?
I don't have time, this is pretty obscure.
Oh,
I agree with the DCED though, they're gonna tell you what the right procedure is.
Okay. So do we need to vote on that, we're just agreeing to,
I'm not approving anything.
yeah. Okay, that's all I got for additions to the agenda.
all right, this is the sample resolution for West Alexander. I did realize this evening that I didn't actually mark it as the West Alexander Volunteer Fire Department. This is their qualifications and what they want, so that would have to be added in. Claysville wants a separate one.
Eric, have you reviewed this,
Yes,
and this, what you expected?
yes.
I move we,
I have a couple questions.
well, I get it before.
Sorry.
Make a motion to approve this.
Got a motion to approve the, well, it ain't numbered, the resolution for the,
With the change as.
With the change for the, including the words regarding the West Alexander Volunteer Fire
Yeah.
Department.
okay. Anybody want a second?
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second, questions?
Okay, I have a question, and it's just, so I know that there's some other things that have to be done with these, you know, Eric's kind of aware that, do those other options have to be listed in here? Like, copies go, like we have to have their notarized roster and things. Should that be in here, or is that just a given?
That's in the ordinance.
That's what I didn't, I mean,
Well, we have criteria for how we're determining, is that what you're asking?
yeah, that's what, I mean, you know. But
And then we
the-
did bounce this back to the head, the fire chief or the emergencies has to verify compliance. Because there was a concern about what if somebody says they're complying and we don't
And
think
then
they
what
are.
ab- Okay, and what about the dates that they need to turn it in by?
I don't know the answer. I
The only
wasn't
reason I'm
sure
asking is
when
because-
this thing repeated.
It's in the,
I
it's
don't,
in the ordinance.
It's in the ordinance, 45
The
days.
The timelines are spelled out in the ordinance. The only other thing that I foresee that you guys need is the proper paperwork. Because I think as far as the income tax, I would file the roster with you.
okay,
Then you would know who receives that discount and they would know. But then the real property tax, I think they'd be applying for a rebate. So we need that paperwork,
right.
whatever that paperwork is, for it to be
So-
done.
So my we don't have to review that, do we? Like, it doesn't,
Well, there is an ordinance that exists,
Yeah.
that has been passed.
yeah,
Pass the
we
ordinance.
have an ordinance,
No, I don't
but
think
I
you
don't,
have to review that.
I don't remember what it says, you know.
I mean,
so.
it's valid unless you
Review it,
do something with it.
yeah, or amend it. So what is, your question is, who's following who does it?
No, I understand that I've gotta supply the roster of the people that are eligible for the income tax.
Yeah.
Then, as far as what paperwork that our people will need for the property tax, because there's something they're
That's
gonna
what I,
have, you know what I mean?
that's what I
How,
understand.
I don't know how it all works.
I don't know either,
And then-
Yeah.
and that's, when we were talking about the tax rebate with the, Act 13, was a similar
Similar issue.
Yeah.
problem. We didn't know
How it actually works, yeah.
what to do, you know what I mean?
And then, okay, so if they do a property tax, we have to issue the rebate back to them?
That's my understanding.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
so does, I mean.
So you will get a roster of those people who are in compliance. So you will have the certified roster
Right,
as to who is and when they come in, but we just need to
And
know
the
what
tax
paperwork.
collector-
Obviously, they can't just walk in the window and say, hey, I'd like my rebate.
Well, the tax.
You know what I mean? It's gotta
well,
be something that they
The
fill
tax
out.
collector's gonna have to be involved in some way.
no, we do all the rebates, because the tax collector's not allowed to issue a rebate, only the township issues. a rebate.
Yeah.
Am I right, Sharon, do we do rebates now?
I don't know.
Yeah, you
Who gets
send
a
them out,
rebate?
because I see them sometimes, like, you know,
Who gets a rebate?
so like if somebody pays wrong and it gets reassessed,
I
that,
pay those out.
yes,
now.
that's, so that's
Like,
kind
like
of,
when the
yeah.
reassessment occurred,
Yeah.
it's.
Yes.
If your taxes went down.
Yes,
So
ours,
that kind of stuff
the
would
township
fall
paid it.
through here.
Refund.
Does that have to be in here, or does it have to be in the ordinance, or is there something else? That's all I'm asking.
That's in the ordinance.
That it goes through. I don't remember what the
I don't think it
ordinance
has to be
says.
in this.
Okay, I just asked.
Yeah,
So
Well,
I
that-
read our
That's my
ordinance and I read
So
the
that
whole
didn't-
ordinance.
it's-
I'm not
The
saying
resolution
that.
It
only
still didn't
sets
answer
what-
your
No, the
question.
ordinance was passed
Yeah, we
last
don't.
year.
And I don't expect an answer, I just said it's something we gotta figure out, we
Yeah.
need to figure out.
Well,
And
that's what I'm
we're
trying
getting a
to
shorter
do.
timeline now, so, obviously, it's something needs to be in place.
So
by
you'll
the end of
have
the year.
to, you'll bring in
I'll bring in the roster of
your
people who are
roster
eligible.
of people,
Yes.
with, you know, highlighted or whatever, with
Yes.
people that are, you know, gonna get it.
Yes.
And then you wanna know, how are we gonna pay that off of that list?
There's, yeah,
How
each
do,
individual is gonna have some piece of paper saying they're eligible for
well,
it.
your
So-
roster is gonna say if they picked, right?
'cause they-
Property tax or EIT?
they
It's
get
for both,
They get
Oh,
both.
so they get both.
yeah. So they just need something to hand to their tax preparer saying, you know, for their income tax, and they need something to bring here saying I get the refund, you know, for the property tax.
You wouldn't wanna automatically give it back, because if that person didn't pay their taxes, you don't wanna give them money back.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
And you're gonna have the roster, so you're gonna know who is eligible, but they're gonna have to bring something to you, I would think, I would say.
A paid,
Otherwise getting a rebate.
a paid, if it's actually called a rebate, then what does rebate mean? You pay.
You pay
you
it,
get
you get
something
it
back.
back.
They- Yes,
Right.
correct,
Yeah.
yes,
So
they
if
are,
they
they're already
bring-
paying it, then they're gonna be
Right.
asking
So
for a
that's what I'm saying,
refund,
they
yeah.
should have a receipt that
Yes.
says they paid,
Yes,
right?
Yeah, you
Yes.
can't get a refund if you don't pay.
Right.
So Sharon will have to look at the reports that we get from the tax collector to make sure they're paid, and then issue the checks back, is the way because a tax collector's not allowed to write checks. She's only
No,
allowed
but
to
the,
collect.
Well, they-
don't you get
they
something
do-
saying you paid it?
yeah, they do have to have something saying they paid it, because it's up to, you know, they
Okay.
can't get $500 if they didn't pay $500.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, they are gonna have to
So
have a
don't
receipt
they
of what
get a
they paid.
receipt?
Sharon
If you
gives a
send in
monthly
a
report.
self-addressed stamped envelope,
Yeah,
Say it again?
only.
if you send in a self-addressed stamped envelope for a return
We
receipt.
get receipts.
Yeah, but I send in an.
Oh, if you send the tax collector, you mean?
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Or if you go pay in person, they'll stamp it.
So would that be a problem if you guys wanted, they could
Well-
send a self-addressed stamped envelope and?
It, yeah,
We get a report.
mine's in escrow.
Tax collector.
My taxes are paid out of escrow. I don't get anything.
So,
So you would have to
Oh.
request a
Duplicate.
duplicate,
Yeah.
which would cost you $2 to get, I believe.
Request a duplicate from
A
Tax
duplicate
collector.
receipt.
a tax, okay.
You could go.
Because I don't get any now, I
You
get
could
nothing.
contact your
from it
mortgage
at all.
company
Yeah,
though,
you
they
didn't
should
need
be
it.
able to fax you a copy.
I didn't need it, yeah.
I
Your
just get a
mortgage
statement
company would have
from my
those forwarded
mortgage.
with the taxes
I
paid.
think you can go online to the mortgage website, and that's one of the choices, a duplicate receipt for escrow.
Okay.
I've seen that on.
So, but is that all they need to bring in, and then you're gonna have the list, and she can just confirm off the list?
I'll double check, but yeah.
That sounds like. it
We'll look at
makes
the
And then-
ordinance.
And then what
Okay.
are we issuing to the people for their income taxes?
I have an idea.
Coins, tokens out of the machine.
I don't know, I don't know.
Hey,
Actually, like Buffalo adopted something from Keystone, is how they did theirs.
So through Keystone, and then it would be a form attached.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's
Yeah,
wonderful.
because
They- we just-
I looked at their ordinance and it was actually
Okay.
attached to their ordinance.
So then
We could do the same
they
thing.
can work, okay.
We could figure out the same system.
I was gonna say to you,
We making any headway?
Yeah,
Okay.
you are.
Eric, I also got an email, there's a whole seminar that's gonna be put out in September, all about this Act 172. I'll send you the information, you know, maybe we could, it's a whole training, it just came the other day, I haven't forwarded it to you yet, I just saw it. But there's gonna be a whole training for it, so maybe it's something that we could, you know,
Yeah,
so that we're all
Yep.
doing the right thing.
Okay. We got a motion and a second, right? To pass this resolution with the change that needs to be in there about it applying only to West Alexander.
Yes.
We've beat that horse to death, and let's vote. How do you vote?
Kathy,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
Tom,
Yep.
Tammy,
Yes.
Ed,
Yeah.
5 yes, motion carried.
Okay. I gotta sign that.
Do we not have some motions out of executive session?
Not for me, but you
Well, I thought you made notes on,
you need to remake one?
well, just tell us what they need to be about.
Okay, I will go back, I'm not usually instructing you on what motions to make here. Let me just, hold on 1 second then.
Oh, yeah, we'll have to sign checks. Oh, this thing.
hey Sharon, I'm gonna need to get another copy of the ordinance also, so I can keep that up there in my desk so I follow timelines correctly. Thank you.
You beating the door down now since they can get a,
No, not yet. I'm hoping.
Are you sure, man?
Oh, always. Always.
That should be good on this.
what do you want them done?
I thought he made notes on what motions need to be made when we come out here. Like, for example, the engaging of Glenn Houston, come to download specific video.
Oh, yeah, okay, that was last one.
Was spending money.
You, whether you're gonna have a motion to have somebody come in and duplicate the videos
For the right to know.
for the right to know requests that are outstanding.
Yeah.
And turn the cameras back.
And you plug the camera back. Yeah. You wanna make a motion, Doug?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
All right, say it.
Motion to engage Glenn Houston to make the duplicate videos, satisfy the right to know requests, and to turn the camera system back on, which has been unplugged for
Okay.
at least 3 weeks.
Okay.
You have to include the cost.
That's what it costs.
We don't know the cost, but
Yeah.
it'll be less than $10,000.
Okay, but, yeah.
So you don't have to bid it or anything.
Yeah,
It's an office expense.
yeah. Okay. Got a motion, I'll second. Anybody wanna talk about
I got a question.
it? Yeah.
Didn't you just, are you talking about the cameras you just had installed not too long ago?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, then why did you install them and then shut them off?
because we had to freeze it. We
That
couldn't
was-
download them.
That was a decision of the chair.
It would overwrite.
It was
Because
overrated.
of
overrated.
Right to knows,
Yeah.
I'm asking.
Okay, I just didn't understand.
Well, why, I know whenever other places you want to review their, you have to go to their place, and why can't the people come in here? Why do we have to copy them?
Well, that's what they requested. I don't know. I agree, but
The law provides you can do that.
yeah.
Pardon me?
The law provides they can request a copy.
You know, the other
But
thing,
are they able to come in here and sit down and watch them?
Yes. Good line to view any documents.
comment on that right to know
Yeah.
request. And I do believe it's in the right to know law that if there is a request for any filed video of any kind, okay, at the moment that request is made and received, that it is a requirement that you keep
Mhm.
any video.
Which is
okay,
why
that's
we
made.
pulled the plug so it wouldn't
We
overrun.
were under the understanding after the last meeting
He was the.
that it was gonna be done immediately.
Mhm.
Well, we're a month later, and we're not any way closer to it.
Well, regardless, they had to stop it, okay?
And that's how it was
At
stopped.
that point,
Yeah.
okay? Because they're required by law to do it,
Yeah.
okay?
It was not
It's
a
just-
board
I mean,
decision.
that's
It was
just
not a board
according-
decision to unplug the video.
Well, how else would you control if someone, I'm asking because I was told before when you, not here, when you wanted to view a video at a public place, you had to go in there and sit down and watch it in their presence or have a court subpoena. I mean, was that not right? I mean, maybe it's
Not-
different for different places.
Well,
I
you know
don't
what?
know.
Their problem is this, that video is written over
Yeah,
Yeah,
every so many days.
yeah, so I got you.
So it had to stop, so
Right.
that it
We
was
had the
not
ability to
written
copy
over.
videos
Yeah.
from the machine. We had demonstrated that a number of times. We just
Okay.
chose not to do it.
That's incorrect. It's a
Well, how
vast,
did Mr. Hofricker get a copy of it?
it's a vast amount of
Did
video.
you make the copy
yeah,
for him?
it's a
It's
completely,
a vast
Did you
amount
make,
of
did
video.
you make the copy for him?
Kathy.
Kathy, did you make the copy for Mr. Hofricker?
Follow the law. That's what it's all boils down to.
Yeah.
Wow,
Okay,
I'm
well,
saying
I asked Mr. Hofricker,
that
he
it
wouldn't
right
tell
No,
me.
I
to
didn't,
law
I
is
didn't
law.
make the copy for him. I provided him a copy, yes.
Who made the copy?
I did.
Okay. Does anyone else ever make copies off that system?
Me.
Just you, I mean,
Just
other than
me.
you.
No, just Sharon.
Okay, so you know how to do it then.
But these videos I can't do, Doug. I tried for 3 days.
She
They
has.
want 8 hours of 3 different videos or 3 different cameras. It takes 4 hours
yeah, it's
to
different.
download one
It's
camera.
different,
So
but
it's,
it's
it's a volume.
And
If
it's
it were-
unreasonable to have them say they could come in and sit down and watch them?
You have to follow whatever the law dictates. The law dictates you can get copies of it, or you can come in and sit down and look at it.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
Question
JD.
on that then, does the law provide that if they have the ability to come down, sit down and view it? Okay?
Yeah,
That would be no cost to the township.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if they request a copy that you have to have the camera guy come do, and there's gonna be a charge incurred,
That they're
Would
gonna
they-
pay it.
So, well, wait, so here's the thing of it is, any right to know, we have to have a copy anyway. So no matter what, she still has to have a copy, because you have to hold a copy for so many days before it's destroyed, in case there's an appeal on it. So the township's required to have a copy of it anyway, so she has to get it off of there in order to preserve it for the right to know. So, because the law says it, once you have, you have to keep whatever you provide.
Yeah.
So she
So
has to
will
get
they
it off.
have to pay? Would the person asking for the right to know have to pay
Are-
something?
There are people, I have received notification from residents who have already been told what it's gonna cost them. I don't know how we come up with those numbers, or,
I spoke to the man that's gonna download it.
and then the board approved these, right?
The board approved what?
What fees?
I don't think it should cost anything. It's not really that hard to take it off. It takes about 5 minutes. I've done it myself, but I'm not even
No,
computer
I-
It
oriented.
doesn't take
Talking about-
5 minutes. It does not
I
work.
talked to the guy.
I've done it in my store. I mean, is this something special with your computer that's different than mine? I mean,
Yes.
you plug it in, you put it on this dot, and you put it over here, and you hit
That's-
snip button, and it puts it on the drive.
That's
Is this
exactly
different
what
than
he
that?
told me.
It's not the way it
That's
works.
not what he told me.
Oh, he told me exactly that you take the bookends, they're called bookends, and you slide it,
That's what I do. When you had me do it at the store.
and then you tell it to export it, it goes to a file, and then you tell that file to export it to the drive. And he says, and what takes the longest is it downloading.
And it can take hours to download. I've
Correct.
done that for other
Yes.
places.
Right.
That can
So,
literally
yeah.
take hours.
Yeah, he said it's not the fact of telling you what to
Yeah.
get, it's the fact of the download.
So somebody
Yes.
requested a lot more than what I use.
Oh, yes.
30
A
days
short,
worth.
yeah, a short
Well,
snippet is
it's
not a
nothing.
problem. Sharon
Yeah.
can do that.
Well, then it's your downtime, your load time is what's the
So
difference?
it's not the action of doing it, it is the download time.
Well, yes.
So that's what happens. So as soon as a right to know comes in, it's our job, or Sharon's, somebody's
To
job is
preserve
to preserve it. And the easiest, quickest, cheapest way to do it, to keep it from overwriting, was
Pull the
pull the
plug.
plug.
The
That
other
was the
easiest way to
recommendation.
do would be to buy a second hard drive for it
I was
and
just
just
gonna say, have
swap
a
the top.
backup.
It's about $500 to
And then they
$1,000.
can request
Is
60
that what I
days.
just bought
Yeah.
for the car wash? It was
Yeah.
like $60.
Mhm.
Big difference from 500.
Did he not say it was $500?
Yeah.
No, that's for an external drive to put on, because I talked to him, but for an internal, it's not that much, if we would just swap them out.
So you'd have a backup, so if you had to
So, yeah,
freeze it
so
around
you
it.
could take the
I just
one,
know
yeah.
this because I did it at the car wash.
All right, we got a motion. Did anybody second it?
Yeah, you did.
I did,
That's why we're all asking
Yeah.
all the questions.
yeah. And the motion was to have him come in, download the stuff, and plug the things back in, right?
I just have to say one thing. I'm sorry, but whoever's asked, and believe me, I've had my share of right to knows. But shame on you. You're just really bleeding the township dry, and I'm kind of sick of it. We just keep spending money like there's no end to our pockets.
Yeah, right to knows where they were.
Mr. Shingle? you-
I don't want it, don't give
No.
me any
Do you-
excuses.
I'm not giving any excuses. Do you have any idea how many right to knows were filed?
Yes,
previous
I
board?
do, and I know right to knows, and I still think we
I'm just
could
saying, it's
be
been a thing.
sensible.
Yeah, it wasn't sensible 2 years ago, and it's not sensible now.
Okay.
It's
So
still
it's,
costing the township a lot of money,
it's
not like
turnabout
we care
fair
about
play.
that.
Okay.
Well, that-
It's turnabout's fair play, all is fair in love and war, and we're voting.
Eddie, before you do that,
We're
can you, so when you're talking about, you gotta spend money, have this guy do this. If
Yeah.
a backup's $60, can you put that in the wouldn't that make sense to do it all at once while he's in here instead of another service call?
I think
If
they're
it's only
talking
another-
about two different things, JD, I do, I mean, from what they're saying.
Nope,
She's
nope.
saying, he's saying.
Okay,
Yeah,
pause.
it's different.
But what I'm saying is, if they have to pay him to come in to download this and plug the